What is happening, Commanders? Yours truly here with another Girls Frontline 2 guide. And today we are going to be covering Gunsmoke Frontline post Klukai. And what we will be showcasing is the fire team, which I think will be most people's strongest team for the second attempt, as the buff that grants extra damage to support actions is the second strongest buff available, and most people are going to be using their freeze team to take advantage of the buffs. This guide is for people who are light spenders and do not have a V6 unit of their own, but they want to stay in the top 5% or 10% to get that max amount of platoon rewards. If you do have a V6 unit, I'll be mentioning adjustments during the video so you can also take advantage of this guide. To start off with, I'm going to be talking about builds for each unit, and the first one I want to talk about is Ksenia, who is amazing for this team. She buffs, she has support actions, and triggers overburn for Sharkry to abuse, making the DPS significant. Ksenia's usual best in slot is her purple signature for the 100% increased buff with emergency repair, but in Gunsmoke you aren't using her for her intended role. Instead, we are going to be using a DPS variant, which means the battle pass weapon is stronger for the consistent 15% attack boost and higher damage numbers, as well as Cheeta being able to most likely keep her at full HP without needing to take an actual turn to heal, so this gives her a significant boost with an additional 15% damage buff. For attachments, generally Ksenia does best with flat attack and attack percent, with either defense or HP percent as the third option. She cannot abuse crits as well as the other burn team members, and since she is a support unit, I think it's best to keep it that way. For her effect, you're going to want Phase Strike, as this boss is going to be burning up with your overburn, and so that the damage can be buffed from her support actions. Moving on, let's go to the main DPS of the burn team, which is QJ. Now, how you build QJ is going to be entirely up to how many dupes you have of her. Since we're talking dupes, what the main thing in your build is going to be is whether you use Phase Strike or Ballistic Boost. If you have QJ V4 and above, you're going to want to opt for Ballistic Boost, since you will be spamming your ult every turn for the vulnerable and extra goodies that happen with V5 and V6, and she's not going to be doing fire damage. If you do not have V4 QJ, you're going to want to get Phase Strike instead, because the support attacks will not be fire based, and her ability 1 that you're going to be alternating with her is going to get that buff too. Now we are going to be talking about Sharkry. Sharkry's best weapon is Planeta, as her dupes enable her crit rate to be way higher than usual. If you don't have that though, the battle pass weapon is perfectly okay with her. And then the best 4-star is her signature, but since she is the best girl, I hope you got the best weapon possible for her. Now with Sharkry, her best ability with the attachments is Phase Strike, but Flame Boost honestly isn't that much of a difference, so either or, it just depends on what you have. Now the last unit we're going to be talking about is Cheeta, who is the most replaceable unit we are going to talk about in this list. Cheeta is mainly used for her buff ultimate, which makes Sharkry go full on beast mode, and to heal Ksenia with her healing support skill to maintain that extra 15% damage boost. Her only gold weapon possibility is the battle pass weapon, and she should be rocking Phase Strike on it. Now, since this is going to be your secondary team most likely, since frost damage is significantly increased for this Gunsmoke, you will most likely not be using Macchiato on this team, since you will be wanting to borrow a whale Klukai unit for both runs. And if you don't have a whale Klukai in your platoon, then come hang in the Discord, bro. We got spots in our second platoon with tons of V6 dolls to borrow. But if you do have your own whale Klukai, alternate Cheeta with another DPS. Borrowing a Papasha will not be better in most cases than a whale Macchiato or Klukai or QJ, but I'd pick it as a fourth choice to take advantage of the boss mechanics if you don't have those whale units available for you to borrow. Now, all the turns are basically the same, so I'm going to be explaining how to do the turns with gameplay footage while I was experimenting today to find the optimal turn cycles, so what's going to be shown isn't actually what I'm saying. Now, turn 1, if you are using Cheeta, then you want everyone to be close to her besides QJ so they're in ultimate range. Then you're going to start the battle off with moving QJ in very close using her ult, and so that she can get hit with Cheeta immediately after. And after this, you'll be either spamming ultimate every turn on QJ or alternating it with skill 1. It just depends on what your dupe level is based on what I talked about earlier with QJ. Next, what you're going to be wanting to do is move Cheeta into range and use her ultimate buff to buff everyone in the party and to give her support actions. This is going to increase damage by a lot, even though Cheeta herself isn't going to be doing a whole lot of damage. Next, what you're going to want to do is use that whale Klukai and spam the ultimate here. Her ultimate will be spammable every turn with the fire team because of how many support actions we're going to be taking advantage of here. Next, we are going to want to apply Overburn somehow. QJV3 is really good at this, Ksenia can apply it as well, and so can Sharkry. The best way to apply it though first is with Sharkry. Then the follow-up move will be Ksenia using her ultimate to gain Blazing Assault. Now, every turn will basically be this, so I'm not going to be showing all the gameplay for every turn, but the biggest thing to keep track of is if Ksenia's ult isn't available, I would use her skill 1 before Sharkry's attack so that Sharkry can take advantage of Flammable. Make sure Klukai uses her ult as the first thing possible each turn to take advantage of the cooldown with the fire team support actions. And with Cheeta, if she's using the Battle Pass weapon, make sure she moves 5 tiles to give the Battle Pass weapon the maximum amount of damage possible, and also be sure to use her ultimate every time possible and make sure everyone is in range. I hope this guide helps you out with this dog water game mode, and be sure to hit that like and subscribe button for the best GFL2 guides in my humble opinion. Trueeevil over and out.